Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial Download Festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and your chance to get involved and ask your questions too. So now let's welcome my fellow host. We've got Lee Ellingham with us from Buckinghamshire. Hello, Lee.
Hello, you all right?
I'm all right. It's a beautiful, sunny Saturday as we record this, and it is download weekend, isn't it?
It is, which is it's bloody typical. it's the sun is shining, and we're all supposed to be camping and rocking out to music on that hallowed turf that is Donington Park, but no, not allowed.
Absolute madness. We normally would have Dave Kingdon with us, but unfortunately, he's otherwise, I was going to say indisposed. Is that the wrong word?
I think it might be otherwise engaged.
Otherwise engaged. I don't, because indisposed sounds a little bit like he might have his cock out somewhere, but he hasn't. He is just. How
do we know?
Well, he might.
Don't know that. We don't know.
He's busy working.
With his cock out.
Yes. So it's just me and Lee today. But we have a lot to say. So if you have anything to say, find us on the socials by looking for Festpod or by going to festpod.co.uk, where you can also listen to all the other guides. Say hi, you can ask our advice, or just chime in with whatever you want. We'd love to hear from you. So let's get started with the very exciting download news. We have some big news since episode 8. What is that big news, Lee?
The download pilot. It's Download Festival 2021 edition is now being reduced to a smaller festival as part of the government research into whether we can open up live events on the 21st of June as planned.
It's a COVID pilot.
Yes. Do you know what? The pilot name, I thought that was quite an ingenious thing.
Well, because it's next to the airport.
Exactly. And obviously headliners Iron Maiden for 2022, Bruce is a pilot.
I know!
It just made sense.
Do you remember, I don't know if it was 2016 when I think they were headlining and the Iron Maiden, I don't know if it's a 747, but certainly a huge plane, flew over Download and landed at the airport, the East Midlands airport. But it was so cloudy and overcast that nobody saw it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what I was doing at the time. Obviously, on that I think it was a Sunday, or it might even be the Saturday they were playing. Don't know what I was doing, but definitely didn't see it. No. Hopefully they'll do it again.
Well, yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? I'd love to see that. And he's grown his hair back. Have you seen?
I have, yes. I see. I looked at the trailer for the Download Reloaded, which we'll go into later.
Yes.
He's got locks. He's got his locks back.
Yeah.
But as have you.
Yes,
you have long hair now.
I do, yes.
What the fuck? It looks really good, by the way.
Oh, thanks very much.
It was just a shock to see it. Like, you posted it today. It was just like, wow, he has long hair.
I'm trying to look like Bruce, you see.
Oh, I see.
Well, hopefully a little bit better than that. But anyway, the download pilot is happening it's over a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You don't get the Wednesday and Thursday beforehand as you would normally have with Download Festivals. So it is a shorter event and a much, much smaller event. It's a tenth the size. The capacity is 10,000, but I wonder whether they will even reach 10,000.
Well, at the moment, I mean, I was panicking and scrambling to make sure that I got a ticket on Tuesday when the pre-sale codes went out, and just assumed that come Thursday they'd be sold out by lunchtime. But at the moment, after looking at the forums and the other social medias, it doesn't seem that they've sold everything out just yet. So, I mean, depending on when this goes out, there are still tickets available. I know it's last minute, but if you're gagging for a live event, as you and I are, Neil, then book it.
I mean, I hate to gloat, but do you remember a few episodes ago when we were absolutely convinced that Download would happen in 2021? We were right!
We were right. And again, fuck you to everyone that said we were going to be wrong.
Yeah, so not looking so stupid now, are we?
No.
I mean, let's have a look at the lineup, shall we? Who's actually playing?
Oh, do you know what? I absolutely love this lineup. It's right up my alley. Again, it's all British acts. I think Bloodstock have done the same thing with a lot of the acts not being able to confirm whether they, so the foreign acts that are not able to confirm whether they can come to the UK or not, because obviously with the we've got our travel list of amber, green, red that can or cannot come. So they just thought, I think Download have done the same thing and decided that fuck it, let's go British. They're not able to pay the acts, which I think, which I'll go into a little bit more, but they haven't been able to pay them. So again, it's literally just travel.
Oh, I guess
expenses.
because they don't have the numbers to pay them, do they?
Yeah. And again, obviously, it's a government-backed. It's part of the government program, so the government have only been able to pay to, obviously, I think, to let it go ahead. But I tell you what, to have this many acts come on, decide they want to play Download without actually getting a full wage like they would usually and play, I'd take my hat off to them.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guarantee they're probably gagging to play and want to obviously to showcase the new albums they've put out, or just literally just get out and do it again. It's
been a long time.
Yeah, I tip my hat to them. I mean, the lineup. Well, we've got headliners: Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, Enya Shikari, and Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah.
I mean, people have been saying Bullet for My Valentine should headline about 10, 15 years ago when they were first come out on the scene, and they finally got their shot to prove that's where they deserve to be. A couple episodes ago, I said I'd love to see Enya Shikari headline.
Hey, boom. It's
there
like you knew it all along.
There they are. I'm seeing them again in December. So again, this set will probably be very similar to that. But again, this will prove they deserve to be on the main stage doing what they do. I mean, Frank Carter he had a confirmed hour slot on the lineup for 2021.
Yeah.
So he's now headlining the main stage on the Friday. Yeah. And again, if you've seen his shows on YouTube or seen them live, he can smash it, and I'm so excited for that.
Oh, definitely. You see some of the videos on YouTube of him performing, and it looks like a raucous gig.
Oh, definitely. I can't wait. I think he's going to be absolutely amazing. Obviously, Enya Shikari, for me, goes without saying, they're going to be fucking fantastic. And I'm excited for Bullet for My Valentine as well. I used to love listening to them when I was a teenager, many moons ago.
I'm really excited that we're going to be able to see Elvana, because I missed them last time because I think I was asleep.
I did too. And I saw a video of them, I think it might be, they performed In Bloom, and everyone on that second stage was singing along to it. And do you know what? It sounds amazing. And yeah, I'm quite glad they're going to be there. Do you know what? I made a playlist for all the bands that, as I do every year. Couldn't find Elvana anywhere, so I thought, fuck it, I'll stick Nirvana in. It'll be the same.
Yeah. I'm sure Kurt would love that.
Hey, the man is in a peaceful sleep. He won't know. He's fine.
Do you know what? If you're not aware of Elvana, and how can you not be, let's be honest, it is basically an Elvis impersonator with a band doing Nirvana covers. It's fantastic. It's so much fun.
It does look like a lot of fun. And yeah, they're one band I can't wait to see either. Who else we got on there? Sleep Token. I've mentioned before on my own social media and on the podcast. I'm really looking forward to seeing them.
There's a few bands here that I have seen before, and I know they're great, and I know it's going to be a great gig.
Yeah, I mean, Skin Dread. Obviously, we saw them in 2019.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
they were amazing then. They're playing Bloodstock as well this year.
Are they? They're busy this year for a change.
Yeah, they were supposed to be doing the London Roundhouse in December, just gone, but obviously that had to be cancelled. But the show that they are now doing instead, I can't remember when it is, but they've sold it out. So again, they are a well loved band, and and I can't wait to get back onto that field and do the Newport Helicopter again.
We've got Boston Manor, Holding Absence, Death Blooms, Twin Atlantic. There's a lot about. I don't know how many there are. Looks like about.
I think we've got four. There's 40 bands. All over the weekend. And the best thing about it is Andy Copping has confirmed none of them will clash. There's two stages, and none of them will clash. So you will get the opportunity to see every single band.
That's incredible.
If you're that way inclined.
And if you're sober or, compos mentis.
Exactly. One band I'm really looking forward to, as everything unfolds, I mentioned them on the last podcast, Hometown Heroes from me. They're actually from High Wycombe.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's not just Buckinghamshire. I looked into it. They're actually from High Wycombe.
No way.
Which is fantastic. And I mean, obviously, I don't know who they are. I've never met them. But to have a band from my own town there, or my hometown there, they're going to get my full support big time.
You'll be at the front.
Oh, big time, yeah.
With your top off.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I don't know how much weight I'm going to lose in the next 2 weeks, but yeah.
No, do you know what? It's the first download since lockdown, and we've all put a bit of chub on, haven't we? So
big time. Do you know what it's going to look like? It's going to look like we've all just come back from America or something.
Speaking of which, Chubby and the gang will be performing on the Sunday, so they'll be fitting in with us all, wobbling about at the front.
Oh, you imagine with a name like Chubby and the gang that one of them's going to have a bit of chub on them, but I don't know. I hold my reservations. Maybe they're just taking the piss.
Yeah, they could be, couldn't they? It could be ironic.
Yeah.
So the actual camping situation is very different as well. We are not going to be in those regular campsites. There's going to be 3 campsites, isn't there?
There is. So we've got Blue Camp, Red Camp and Green Camp, all within the vicinity of the arena, what usually would be the arena. Where after looking at the map, I'm guessing, because it says in the corner, it's a basic map, it's not to scale and it's subject to change. So you take it with a pinch of salt. But where the Blue campsite is, it's where it's just below where the download dog head usually is. Red campsite is usually where the avalanche stage is, on that left-hand side as you go down the hill. And then Green camp is where all the camper vans usually are. And then beyond that is the car parks. Main stage is exactly where it usually is, and second stage is where Avalanche stage was pre-2017. So as you go down the hill, it's on the far right next to what would usually be the guest area for RIP.
Now, the only thing I'm worried about is camping on a hill. Don't want to camp on a hill because we've camped on a hill before. I think it was 2016, and we were in, I think, Pink Camp.
Yes, we were. It was shit.
Yeah, it was like a 45-degree angle, and it's very difficult to. I don't know how anybody else managed if you were there, but it was hard to sleep on a hill because you fall out of bed. Yeah. No matter which way you sleep.
I mean, because they recommend that you sleep on. If you're going to ever camp on a hill, this is general camping. If you're going to camp on a hill, make sure you go on it sideways. So then, if you go with your legs facing down the hill, then obviously the blood will rush to your feet. Or again, if you go in the opposite way, which would be really uncomfortable, your blood in your body will rush to your head. So no, I
don't want my blood rushing anywhere. I just want to go to sleep. Thank you very much.
I think the flattest area it is going to be to camp will probably be in red. So for you and I, Neil, I'd probably recommend that. It's not too far away from the car parks either.
Yeah.
We've got to remember, the area that they're using is so small. A walk backwards and forwards from the car is probably going to be about 10 minutes or so. From whichever point you go from with all your crap on your back or in your trolley. So,
and you won't have as much crap because you're only there for 2 nights or possibly 3 nights if you're going to stay over till the Monday.
Oh, come on. Have you ever not been on holiday and you just overloaded your baggage with crap just in case? I guarantee there'll be people that do it. I know we've said on occasions and guide people like try and be as minimalist as possible. Yeah. Don't bring shit that you don't need. But fuck me, no, I guarantee we will. I mean, I might.
Oh my God, I'm dreading it. It's my worst bit is preparing what am I going to take, putting it all in little bags or whatever, and preparing it all. I can't stand all that. I would love to just turn up and it was all ready for me. We have to remember this is not going to be like a normal download that we are used to. There's going to be a lot less people there.
This is true. So fingers crossed the traffic and the flow of everything getting in and set up is going to be a lot different. I mean, even my wife asked me today, are you booking a hotel for the night before? And I said, I wish we were, but we're not because obviously everything's done last minute.
Yeah. And that's just more money that I can't really afford.
Speaking of, have you seen the price for the RIPs option?
I have seen the price for the RIP options and it's a proper piss take.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too pleased about it either. I mean, you've got to pay 120 quid for your normal ticket and then 309 for the top up to RIP. Now there will be people that do it because they purely love doing again the RIP, and that's the only way they are comfortable to camp. And I get that, but I mean, an extra 300 quid, that's a bit. I mean, for 3 nights as well, that's a bit much. I mean, I know it's 3 days. It's not the usual 5. So again, there's 200 quid off the normal price, but even still, it is a bit much.
I mean, you've got your options like you would normally have with RIP. If you heard our RIP guide that we did, I think last episode, we went through all of the different options available. Some of them are still available, but not all of them. So you've got the Park Farm camping, which is the regular Park Farm with the pub that's there and the nicer grass and the proper brick toilets and it's proper campsite. Then you've got the bell tents for 2 or 4 people that you can hire, which are apparently very nice. And you've got camper van plots with electric connection. Oh, having a drink there.
Yeah, sorry.
And you've got the camper van plots with the electric connection point and the big sort of reception shed that you can go and get stuff sorted out with, all in Park Farm. So you haven't got all of the other bits. But I've read, I don't know how true this is, that you'll have to get a bus from Park Farm to the arena.
I was about to say that as well. I'd read somewhere that there is a shuttle bus from ROP to the main entrance to the arena. Because again, I know the map is basic; it's not to scale; it's subject to change. But the map only shows one entrance.
Yeah. So it's not like ordinary RIP on a normal download where you could just walk into the arena in a very short space of time. You'll have to wait for a bus. And get on a bus, but the thing is, I don't know. You'll get a nice RIP T-shirt that nobody else in general camping gets. But when you're camping in the arena, what we know is the arena, it seems like I don't really see the benefit for £309 at least.
No, I mean, you and I have always said that the benefits for a normal RIP sort of outweigh the other expensive options, like Ready to Rock, etc. But for this pilot, no, I think it may have been just unnecessary. I mean, those that are going to want to go, those that are desperate to go, even access campers, there is availability for some access with the information coming soon, I believe. But even those that are desperate to go are not going to really bother with it.
I've read a few people on the groups have, pretty much everybody winced when they saw the price of RIP, but some of them just clicked it and shut their eyes and did it anyway. And if you can afford to do it, then why not, I suppose. I don't see that the value is there that you'd normally get, but it's your money. You do what you want.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, the thing is as well is it's such a late notice event that, again, how can they expect people to have 430 quid, because that's the total price of it, just lying about and thinking, fuck it, here you go, have it, to do the RIP option.
I'm going to be skint going to download. I have saved up no money for download because I didn't know it was coming.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, I'm having to hold back pretty much a lot of my wages for the month to basically just to do this. I suppose preparation into taking our own food and taking our own drink and not really trying to spend too much there is going to be the only way to not go nuts.
The good news is that there's going to be a supermarket on site. I guess it's the Co-op, maybe, because there usually is a Co-op, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it is the Co-op. I think I saw somewhere that the Co-op have said that there'll be the supermarket there.
Thank God for the Co-op.
And if it is, brilliant. I'm taking a barbecue, by the way.
Are you? Are you allowed barbecues?
Fuck knows. I'll take it. And if they take it away from me, they take it away from me.
Wow.
I mean, there is going to be stalls for food and drink and all sorts. So again, stuff. The normal stuff in the arena isn't going to change too much. The biggest difference is, again, is capacity, where we were able to camp, 2 stages instead of 4, and that's that's pretty much it, I think.
There won't be any lockers. Just to make you aware of that, there's going to be no lockers, but there will be showers, I'm told.
Yes, showers are a go-go. If you're like me and you're going and you want to smell fresh every day and smelling like a fucking dumpster fire, then cool, you can have that option to shower.
Now the whole site is going to be cashless, so there's no point bringing
Cash.
wads of hard-earned cash and then getting it robbed. You can use your debit or credit card or apps on your phone, such as Google Pay, Apple Pay. Cash won't be accepted anywhere on site, which I think is great.
Yeah, again, it stops the spread of obviously us all touching the same piece of paper or whatever.
Yeah.
Because now notes are plastic. I imagine, again, I'm not a scientist, but I believe. I know, but I believe like if you're swapping cash all the time, then obviously there's potential to spread the virus around despite having a negative test.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's cashless. Then you ain't got to hand anything to anybody. You can just literally tap and go.
You will be able to buy merch, so there will be a merch tent somewhere.
That's probably where all my money's going to go. Not going to lie.
You would imagine that the bands would have some merch available so that they could
hope so.
Cash.
Obviously, I've recently bought merch for some of the bands that are performing. I got bought a Loathe t-shirt and bought Enter Shikari t-shirt. But the artwork for the Enter Shikari tour they're doing, that's the merch I want because love Enter Shikari. And yeah, I'd like to find. I'd love to see some of the bands that are again lower down the bill that aren't the headlines. I'm hoping they're going to bring some merch as well, because it'd be good to get hold of some of their stuff and sort of spread the word on them as well.
You can only buy weekend tickets. You can't buy a day ticket because it's obviously a COVID pilot and they need everybody to be under the same circumstances. Speaking of which, we ought to talk about the COVID testing aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to take a lateral flow test on the day of the start of it. So let's say you go for a lateral flow test in the morning. You can do them at home, or you can go to one of these places that does it. And you need to show the result, the negative result, to be able to get in on the day, plus some ID and your ticket, of course. And you'll be sent through the post a couple of PCR tests, which is different somehow. Do you know the difference?
I think the PCR is supposed to be near enough 100% accurate. And they're the ones that are going to be going back to the researchers to determine whether, again, did they have any antibodies in their system before arriving? Did they have them when they left?
Did they have a strain of COVID, and if so, which strain? And did they have it at the end? And then they can trace which strains have transferred and where they've been taken to, etc. But that is, you take. I think one of those PCR tests before you go, and you post it before you go in a priority post box, and that gets processed whilst you're at download, and then maybe a week later you do another test.
Yeah,
and send that off.
That's how I've understood it, and that's what I think's going to happen. I actually got my vaccine today, my first one.
No way.
Yeah,
you've had a busy morning, haven't you?
I have. Yeah. Yes, I have. Lost my wedding ring. Well done, dickhead. And then.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
No, do you know what? I'm laughing at it now. Obviously, when I woke up this morning and realised it had gone, I'm like, fuck's sake. Then trying to retrace all my steps, and obviously where I work is near one of the drop-in vaccination centres.
Did you just drop in?
Pretty much.
All I got was a sore arm. I didn't get any side effects or anything. So
far, touch wood, I've not had anything.
Which one did you have?
Pfizer.
Oh, did you? I had the Moderna. I don't know what rhyme or reason there is between what people get.
I think the different companies. My wife wanted the Dolly Parton one because she came up with her own vaccine.
Did she? Is she clever?
Yeah. She funded a team to make their own.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah. and she wanted it so she could get a good singing voice and obviously have plastic surgery and all sorts of start singing 9 to 5 and all that stuff.
She's a proper businesswoman.
Yeah. No, the only side effect I've had is wanting an Xbox from Mr. Bill Gates, but that's about it.
So you can take your own food and drink, and there are limits on alcohol that you can bring. You can bring 1 case of alcohol, which is 24 case per person, or a 3-litre box of wine. I mean, I don't know how big 3-litre box
Who
of
the
wine.
fuck needs 3 litres of wine?
No. Yeah, 70 centilitres or 700 ml, I guess, of spirits decanted into a vessel, not glass, in brackets. I've still got some Jack Daniels from the last download, so I may bring that along.
Yeah, I'll end up going to local brewery round by me. If there's any listeners from the Buckinghamshire area, Rebellion
Oreo,
yeah,
Areola,
or Areola. Area Rebellion Brewery do 3-litre bottles of their ales, which I'll probably get a few of those, and I can get royally pissed on that for the weekend.
It says here, or you may bring a reasonable mix of cans, wine, and spirits. For example, 12 cans and 35 centilitres of spirits, or 6 cans and a litre of wine and 25 centilitres. Who the hell is going to be measuring all this stuff?
Hang on, who's the clever dick that works out all that fucking math?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, surely. Who's confused by the fact that they've got 24 cans or a case, 3-litre wine and 70 mils of 70 cl of spirits? Just mix it up.
All you need to know really is that glass is not permitted. And alcohol in glass bottles must be put into a plastic one. But you know that already. If you've been to download, you know not to take glass in. Unless, of course, you're in Park Farm, in which case you can take pretty much whatever you like, including barbecues, because it's just a campsite. There are rules regarding that, so I'd check those out if you were going to go into Park Farm. But most of you, I think, won't be.
I'm bringing a barbecue for me and you in 2022, by the way.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and we can even...
Food poisoning.
We shouldn't do. And yeah, we'll make it into like a little fire pit or something so we can chill under the stars. There's a campfire.
Oh, nice. There is now a lot of people won't be going to the pilot, as we found out. They haven't reached capacity. If you still want tickets, they look like they're available. So I'd go and get them if you want, if you're interested. But people do have an option. This weekend, as we record this, Download Reloaded is being screened on the Sky Arts channel, which is a sort of mashup of the best of headliners from the last 10 years.
Yeah, including obviously Uriah Maiden, Kiss, Biffy Clyro, obviously all performing in 2022. I also believe they've got Rammstein, Slipknot, Linkin Park, part of their set from 2014. God rest his soul.
The headliners are a bit of a... they're quite divisive, some of them, aren't they? So because people like some, people have got strong opinions about others. So it's not like you've got to sit through a 2-hour set of a band you don't like, because I think each show is like an hour and a half, and it's a mix-up of different ones. So you know you won't have to. It's because I wouldn't want to sit through an hour and a half of Guns N' Roses, for example, because it's not my scene. So you don't have to worry about that if they're on. They're only on for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Again, the Linkin Park set, I'd love to.
Oh, can't wait! Yes, I'd love to see that.
Because again, I think 2014. That was the year I met my wife, and I was obviously we both met through music actually. So again, that June, I had seen the lineup. Thought, I'd really love to go, but it was a bit late for me to get a ticket at the time. And looking back on it, obviously that was the last time that Chester was supposed to perform. And they were supposed to come back for 2017, but he died that year, so he wasn't able to. But yeah, there's loads of sets on there that I'm quite keen to see, and gutted that I didn't get to see live.
Oh yeah, I mean there are tons of headliners there that I missed for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see this. So if it's on Freeview and it's on, obviously it's on Sky. I don't know about Virgin's cable or whatever because I haven't got that. But I've set record on my recorder box, and I shall keep that because it's the thing is, it's because anyone not going to the pilots will have had to go without download 2 years running.
That's sorry to interrupt you there. That's why I've booked the ticket because after going to that, I went to that gig in Walthamstow a few weeks ago, and just got the buzz, got the itch. I need to go. I need to see it again. And then when they announced it, I was like, oh my god, it's actually going to happen. And then obviously with the new job, I thought, fuck, am I going to be able to? I could potentially get a ticket, just go for the Saturday and Sunday, but luckily I get half days on a Friday, so booyah.
They're doing giveaways, actually. It says we'll have giveaways and other opportunities all weekend for all you downloaders to get involved. Stay tuned to our socials for more news on what we've got planned. And there's a statement from Andy Copping. The past 2 years without Download Festival have been tough for us all, so we're delighted to be able to bring some of the biggest and best download performances to your living rooms this year. We hope you'll get involved and set up a tent in your backyards to really enjoy a taste of download from home. A lot of people do that and take pictures and post them on social media, so we'd love to see that. If you are planning something special for this weekend, download wise, we would love to see any pictures of that, so send them in on our socials. Look for us on there, Festpod, and we will share them. Tag us in and we'll share them. Download Reloaded is happening Saturday the 5th of June and Sunday the 6th of June, what would have been Download Weekend, from 9 p.m. on Sky Arts. So have a look through your guide, your planner, and get the beers in and enjoy yourself.
I'm already on the beers as it goes.
Yes. What are you on? What are you drinking?
I think it's either Audi or Lidl's Rockshore Irish Lager. It's only 4%, but there's a big box of it downstairs. So by the time the Reloaded starts, I should be on my way.
Well on the way, I'm sure.
I should hope so.
We did have Eurovision quite recently. The Eurovision Song Contest, for any Americans listening to this, if you're not aware of what Eurovision is, it is basically a song contest for people in Europe, the European continent, and sometimes Australia, randomly. But it gets televised across Europe. For everybody else listening to this in the UK, did you see the metal bands? There were a couple, weren't there?
There was, and I actually loved them. I thought they were fantastic. I've started recently following them on Instagram as well. Blind Channel from Finland it had a very nostalgic feel to it. A lot of people have said on the Twitter Eurovision that it sounds like we've all been transformed back to the early 2000s and the late 90s where the new metal was a big thing, and it is a really good track.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they finished where they did. The finished. I'm glad they finished where they did, because it just shows that, again, whilst it is the Eurovision pop song contest, it means that again, rock and metal are still a very popular choice around Europe. The Italian entry was brilliant. I think they did deserve to win. It was really good that a non-English speaking song actually won. It just shows that you don't need to be singing in English to actually win the competition.
Yeah,
I think the top 3 songs were non-English.
That used to be a rule, didn't it, that they could only sing in their country's native language, and then they changed it.
I'll be honest with you. This is the first year I've actually got stuck into it properly. Yeah. I blame my wife. I made her a promise, but I think it might have even been on the wedding day. I promised her I'd sit down and watch it with her, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. Even some of the actions, like, oh my god, this is awful, was still fun to watch.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because even though it's a lot of pop trash, some of it is really good. In fact, the standard of music this year was it's the best I've ever seen. and I watch Eurovision every year and take the piss out of everyone on Twitter. But yeah, I really enjoyed the rock and metal bands that were on. There weren't that many in comparison to all the pop, but I really, really enjoyed. I'm glad like I say, you said, I think they finished appropriately. They got to a good position in the voting. And so the other thing that you might not be aware of is that you can actually buy those tracks that were in the competition. So if you did happen to see it, or if you want to have a look,
my favourite ones were obviously the Finnish entry, the Italian entry, Ukrainian entry, and who else did I vote for? I think I voted for Norway. Tix, bless him with his Tourette's.
Oh right, yeah.
And I absolutely I loved it because that, to me, that was a proper poppy sort of ballad, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a shame he didn't come any higher than he did. But with, again, lots of whilst James Arthur did come really, but is it James Arthur?
No,
I didn't think it was. Who was it?
Don't know. He's not famous.
Fuck me, no, he's not, is he? Clearly, I don't know who he is. But obviously the British entry came last, but they were up and they were loving it.
Yeah, they were up having a beer, and the one comment that I saw that made me laugh was that the British singer looks like he's got a forklift truck license, which I thought was absolutely accurate. He did look like he worked in a warehouse somewhere.
He's a chunky boy, and he's a big set of lungs to go with him.
And that's no disrespect to anybody that works in a warehouse, because I'm a lorry driver, so I come into contact with people in warehouses all the time.
Yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to catch up on Eurovision, it might be worth checking it out, even if you just check out a couple of the entries. For example, the Italians and the
Finnish entry. Band names. The Finnish entry is Blind Channel, and the Italian entry is called Måneskin. The A in Måneskin has got a little circle above it, so it's I think it's supposed to be Danish.
Oh right. And the last story on our news today, unfortunately, we have had more cancellations of festivals for 2021. Arctangent, unfortunately, announced their cancellation. They're being postponed till next year, 2022. And
as are 2000 Trees, obviously, they're both part of the same company. Or
oh, is it?
The sister events to each other. Yeah, 2000 Trees was, I think that was the first one to be postponed, because obviously that's in July. But because of the lack of help from government, Arctangent had to postpone as well. I mean, Bloodstock, again, whilst that is in August, that's before Arctangent. The directors have said they have planned the event thinking they weren't going to get any help from government, so they sort of planned ahead and weren't reliant. It sounds awful when I say that they weren't relying on like Arctangent and that were relying on the government. I don't think they were, but it just shows that, again, without the help of government, again, a lot of events will sort of falter. And I mean, if this thing goes on into next year, which touching wood, it won't, that again, a lot of the events that, again, we love, Download probably included, won't be able to survive. So shame on the government for not doing more, but unfortunately,
shame on the government for a lot of things.
Yeah, let's not open up that can of worms. But specifically, shame on the government for not helping out, again, with the arts and with events like this. Because without my opinion, without the arts, life would be fucking boring.
Yeah, during lockdown when we all had nothing to do, nowhere to go, what did we all do? We all turned to the arts.
Exactly.
And it is a hugely important sector and employs a lot of people. It arguably accounts for a lot of our GDP in the United Kingdom, and it should be supported. That's my view. Subject.
No, I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
So next, we are going to get some advice about going to Download in the guide. In this section, we'll try and answer some of your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things we recommend, and things to avoid. This week, the weather? Now, it's always a hot topic of conversation at Download Festival. What is the weather going to be like? Because it seems to have its own microclimate at Donington Circuit. It is a very flat area because you've got the East Midlands Airport right next door, because obviously they need a flat area to land their planes, and so it's very windy, and you forget that sometimes, because when it's dry, I don't know if it was 2017 when it was absolutely bone dry, baking heat, it was like a dust bowl.
Absolutely. And typically, obviously, as we record this is supposed to be the weekend of Download 2021. Looking out the window, the sun is fucking out. It's dry. It's warm, and all
Perfect
I can say
download
is,
weather.
It is, and you know what? Fuck the weather. Honestly, it's just typical. But no, you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, in the previous years, 18 and 17, it was really hot, and to sort of combat that heat, you need to obviously you need your sunscreen.
Yeah,
always
definitely.
take sunscreen. Always take sunscreen. Even if you predicted weather to say it's going to rain, take sunscreen.
This is it. You can't trust the weather forecast at all.
Absolutely not. It's rubbish. Like you said, it's got its own microclimate. So when you see the weather forecast saying, "Oh, it's a few spotted showers around the Midlands area with Leicester and Derbyshire," you know full well that in Donington Park, which is in between Leicester and Derbyshire, it's going to have a fucking monsoon.
Yeah, take wellies. Always take wellies. Umbrellas. You know, what do they call them things that keep you dry? The clothes, waterproofs. There we go. Take your waterproofs. Honestly, we're not joking, because you would be astonished if you've never been to Download before. There are some amazing pictures of Download. The mud at Download is like nothing you've ever seen or trod through in your life, because obviously thousands of people are walking through that mud, and it becomes like a sort of river, a sticky river.
A sticky river. Lovely. In 2016, so you know where we in 2016 we camped in Pink Camp, didn't we?
We did.
And we were on the hill. But if you were actually on the flat down the bottom, it was a river. There was literally a river going through it. There are videos if you look at them online on YouTube to find it, but there's an actual river going through Pink Camp, and it destroyed everyone's crap. It destroyed everything.
Floating tents, all sorts. So
I mean, the best way to describe preparation for the weather at Download is you've got to prepare for a heat wave and prepare for a tsunami at the same time. You know, there is no in between.
Yeah, honestly,
it's such a strange thing, because I think 2016 it was literally blistering heat on the Wednesday and Thursday, to the point that someone I was camping near had blisters on his nose because he didn't put any sunscreen on, any protection on his face.
And the top of his head.
He had blisters. But then come the Friday or the Thursday night, no, it was the Friday, whilst Baby Metal were due to come on, it hammered it down.
Proper monsoon, wasn't it?
And it destroyed.
People were screaming, people running, screaming. Yeah. I mean, honestly, looking for shelter, it was so bad. I think I was in a pair of leggings, some novelty leggings, and just a t-shirt. I didn't have any, because it's been so beautiful. You don't think, oh well, I'll wear my waterproofs. I'll put my wellies on.
What was I wearing? I was wearing those morph suits.
Oh yes.
Because the theme was superheroes, so I put on a Spider-Man morph suit, and all I had on was wellies underneath, obviously my boxers and that underneath it, and I think a t-shirt as well. But literally, I got absolutely fucking drenched, and my boots filled up with water that we had to go back and change.
Oh my god!
It was absolutely insane. But again, that's if we could just pass on any advice, prepare for that sort of weather. Despite what it says on the weather forecast saying it's going to be 20 degrees sunshine the whole weekend, just make sure in your backpack, in your small backpack, you've got a poncho and some waterproof trousers just in case.
At the bare minimum, take a poncho.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell them in the arena. They sell them all over the place. I don't know if they charge like $5 or something.
Some of them are literally just a sheet of plastic with a hood. They're a $5, but they'll keep you dry-ish to a degree, more so than if you weren't wearing one.
Yeah, and at least that's something, because it is some people's holiday. It's like going on vacation for a few days. It's going to be sunny, and you don't want to take a load of crap with you just to protect you from the weather. I understand that. I completely get that. You don't want to take your raincoat. You don't want to take your massive wellies when you go into the arena. So bare minimum, take a poncho. You can get them from Tesco for like £1 before you go. So you've no excuse not to, because it'll fit in a pocket if you've got pockets.
Yeah.
But also good walking shoes.
Do you know, you beat me to it. I was about to say the same thing. So in 2019, I had a bit of a bad episode where I was wearing wellies all weekend because I absolutely massacred my boots in the mud on the first day. There's pictures of them on, I think you've got pictures of them or something, and they were destroyed within the mud. And I was wearing wellies, and they weren't exactly comfortable on the first day, but by the Sunday, I had to leave. I had to go home. I had to find a pair of. I had to go home to my slippers. I had to leave. I couldn't walk around the arena anymore. It was just so painful. Blisters, all sorts. I missed so many bands. I'm truly gutted. I left so early. I couldn't cope. So yeah,
it must have been pretty bad to make you go home from Download.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, obviously you know me with obviously my music and obviously how much I love this festival. But to make me go home, well, what time is it? I'm on a month. I think we're on about 2-3 o'clock, and to go home roughly about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
it was bad. So advice would be, do your research on a good pair of waterproof hiking boots. So that, again, if they're waterproof, you're not going to get soggy feet. But then if it's still dry, they're going to be comfortable enough to walk over, again, stones and obviously the hard grass and hard mud. So yeah, just it's all about preparation.
Yeah. They don't really like you going in with umbrellas into the arena. You can have them in the campsite and stuff. But in the arena, because it's pointy, I think they've got a problem with it. I mean, you do see people in the arena with umbrellas because they've managed to get them in there somehow. But I think in the rules, if they see you with one, they're going to ask you to, leave it behind.
Yeah, there's actually a YouTube video of again, it's a very very popular group of lads that do the festival circuits all over the country every year. One lad, he spent the first 2 days trying to convince the staff on the gate to let him in with the umbrella. They did on the first 2 days, but come the Sunday, they confiscated it because, again, it's in the rules not to bring it in, so don't bother, in all honesty. If you can find one that's foldable, that can, again, fit in your bag, that can extend and obviously then cover you, then fine. I'm not sure about the rules on those, but, again, the big golf umbrellas with the pointy ends, no. Don't bother.
It's a bad idea anyway, because if you're in the crowd and you've got a big umbrella up like that, you're gonna hurt people, aren't you? Anyway, even unintentionally.
Yeah, because obviously the ends of where the umbrella is, you get that in somebody's eye, it does. It fucking hurts.
God, yeah. And that's it, really. You've just got to prepare for everything. It's hard to say. It's hard to be specific with a lot of it because you just say prepare for everything. There isn't a nice sort of, because the weather is so unpredictable. We can't really just say do the obvious. You've got to prepare for everything.
It's not like if it was in the middle of July and we're in the middle of a heat wave in the UK, that you can definitely say I won't need my poncho, I won't need my waterproofs. I'll just take tons of sunscreen, and that's fine. But even the likes of Bloodstock, which is the beginning of August, the last time I went was 2018, and just as they were getting on the special guests before Gojira, it hammered with rain at the beginning of August, which is something you don't usually expect.
Yeah.
Bloodstock usually is blistering sunshine all week, but you've got to be prepared.
What's the latest on Bloodstock? Are they still going ahead?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's still going ahead. They've recently announced more bands for their new Blood stage. So they are bands that have come through their Metal of the Masses competition, which is like obviously a battle for the bands. So they've announced a few new bands for that. They've got their very, very small stage, the Jägermeister stage. They've announced a couple of acts for that. But yeah, so far that's still going ahead. That's going to be the full capacity that it usually is, 20,000 people. It's going to be the normal Bloodstock.
When's that happening?
That's happening in August the 11th to August the 15th.
And whereabouts does it happen?
Catton Park. That's in Derbyshire. It's not too far away from Download. So it's all, again, most festivals happen in the Midlands. Well, the good festivals anyway.
The home of rock music.
Exactly. Judas Priest, actually, apparently he lives around they still reside in the Derbyshire, Leicestershire area and live very much around the corner from Catton Park, which is where Bloodstock's held. And they're headlining in August, so...
Well, wouldn't you live there if you could?
Mate, do you know that new they've got that new estate being built around Donington Park?
Oh yeah, haven't they having to curtail some of the campsites because there are houses there or something?
Yeah, so what was White Camp... Oh, no, actually, all the campsites, apart from Gold, Yellow, has all been moved to the other side of the park, so that we're not disturbing the new residents that are going to be living around the area. But yeah, like I said, I was going to say, I'd buy them. Wife wouldn't be happy, being obviously we're right by an airport, but yeah, I would. And
a motor racing circuit. I mean, it's not going to be a quiet life, is it?
But there will be people that complain. Okay, well, this is a new can of worms. So there's actually people that live near Reading and Leeds Reading Festival, and actually complain about the music and the noise in August. So are you fucking dumb or something? You've just moved to the area where they have the festival every year, and now you complain about the music.
Yeah, it's like people who move next door to a pub and complain to the pub about the noise.
Oh, speaking of the pub, excuse me.
Enjoying yourself.
No, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's been in my hand for 5 minutes. I was waiting for the perfect time, and you mentioned the pubs. I thought, great.
Yeah, I've got no sympathy for anybody who complains about noise when they live next to a place that's supposed to have noise. But there we go. So you can tell us your do's and don'ts. You can tell us about something we've missed, or just give us your opinion. Just send us a message about the guide through the socials. Just look for Festpod or at festpod.co.uk. Just click on message and you'll be able to send us a message. Next up, we're going to find out what's coming out of your mouth on social media. In this section, which we call Your Say, we want to know what you have to say. We've got some of your replies to our question online when we asked, what's the best act that you have ever seen at Download? Now, we had quite a few responses to this.
We did. And do you know what? The one that sticks out the most is someone, I think, Jason Gray. He says Mode Step.
Ooh.
Do you know what? I get that. Because sometimes, whilst we all love our rock and metal music, sometimes chucking a sort of an act like Mode Step in and Chasing Status and even Diane Tward, it mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think whilst it's all good that we are a rock and metal community and that's the way it should be, blah 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 blah. Now the times that are changing, having some sort of alternative music like that come in, alternative to the alternative, I suppose you could say. It's good to just mix things up. And he said, but for a group that were an out-of-place act, they put on an amazing show, which, again, I can imagine. And to be honest, I'd love to see the likes of Chasing Status ever come back.
Wow.
Or again, The Prodigy. Obviously, Keith Flint, God rest his soul and all that. But again, they are still making music.
Yeah.
So to have Prodigy come back, it would be an instant seller.
They are still making new music, and they've got new music on the way. They've teased a little bit on their socials, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Johnny Taylor says Linkin Park doing the Hybrid Theory album, and there's a lot of people agreeing with him on that. He says they were there a couple of years before as well, but the 2014 performance was amazing, and Chester was phenomenal. A lot of people agreeing with that. I wish I was there. I was there in 2013, but skipped 2014 for whatever reason. Didn't see them, and I'm absolutely gutted. Would have loved to see them.
That's probably the one act out of all the past lineups. Probably the one act top of the list that I do regret missing big time. Whether that's because obviously Chester is no longer with us or not, I don't think it is. Because that's one of my favourite albums as a teenager. So to be able to have seen that live would have been absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I totally agree with Johnny. Linkin Park would have been a phenomenal show.
Oh yeah.
Who else have we got here then? A lot of people saying Slipknot.
They're very popular, aren't they?
Whether that be 2009, 2015, or even recently 2019, they always put on a good show. I mean, when we last saw them, they were phenomenal. They were really, really good. Blasting out some of the old stuff, again, mixing the new stuff because they had a new album at the time. Yeah, I agree. Slipknot always do a good show for me.
Coots Britannia is looking into the future and saying the best act he's ever seen is Ghost in 2023. So I'm not sure if he knows something we don't, or if he's a genuine time traveller, but that's his his favourite.
Honestly, I think Dave, if he were here, would totally agree with that.
Yes, he would.
I mean, if we were on the subject of future headliners, again, Andy Coppin has mentioned Ghost in passing a lot. It's the same with the Architects, the same with Parkway Drive, and same with Bring Me the Horizon. Those sort of acts, the younger acts. I say younger; they're probably all same age as me and you, Neil. And they
early 20s.
Yeah. No, I turn 21 next week. Yeah, and that sort of band, Ghost, they would be phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
and I look forward to the day that they are announced as headliners.
Paul Thornley says for entertainment and surprise factor, Lounge Kittens. Have you seen them?
I've only seen I've only seen your videos of them that you posted on YouTube, and I listened to them prior to the festival. They are very interesting, and actually I can imagine them being very entertaining. The reason I missed them, I believe they clashed with somebody else that I wanted to see. Yeah. But oh hell yeah, they look like they could put on a good show, because obviously they're doing a cappella, well, piano and a cappella, towards loads and loads of covers.
It's upbeat versions of metal tracks. It is, and it's comedy. It's so good. They're brilliant. And really, it's, you know, as Paul says, for entertainment and surprise factor, if you do get the chance to go and see them, honestly, they're worth. I stayed for the whole set. They are great. Actually, they've got a few albums of metal covers on Spotify and other places. So give them a listen.
I've got Kevin Smith here, said The Darkness in 2015, which I can vouch for.
Oh, did you see them?
I did. They were the surprise act of the weekend. They were on the third stage, and they were brilliant. I don't think I'll be catching them in 2022. There's a lot of bands on the same day that they're going to clash with. Big name bands for me. Obviously, I think they may clash with Korn.
Well, you're never going to see them then, are you?
Exactly. But I can definitely vouch. Darkness in 2015, surprise set, that was a lot of fun. And it was that sort of fun that made me think, I'm going to go download every year. This is amazing.
Chris Goodrum says Metallica 2006, all Master of Puppets album class. I would like, if they were headlining in the future, I would definitely go and watch them. I'm not sure that I'd go and pay for a concert ticket, because you're looking at hundreds of pounds just to see Metallica. But if they were headlining, I'd go and watch them.
They've become that band that, again, they can demand whatever money wherever they go.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, for festivals probably can't afford to do it anymore, because they can demand whatever they want. So they'll probably do a stadium tour. And obviously Dave would be able to vouch for Metallica that evening at the Twickenham a few years ago were phenomenal. Yeah, if they'd headline Download, I'd be right up the front to see them. Yeah.
Can you imagine the atmosphere in the crowd? It would be amazing. Oh yeah,
exactly. You'd have the what they called the denim jacket brigade would be in full swing.
They would. And lastly, Ross Dunn says combo between Avenged Sevenfold and The Offspring. Seen the best songs of both bands that year.
Avenged Sevenfold, again, they're a headliner that, again, are always quite popular. For me, I don't like being negative about bands, but again, Avenged Sevenfold have never been one that have obviously tickled me pickle.
And you like your pickle tickled?
Oh, don't we all?
Yes.
The Offspring, though, if they're on the 2022 lineup, which they are touring the festival circuit in 2022 because they were supposed to be doing it in 2020. If they're on the lineup, I'm gonna go fucking mad because they're one band I'd love to see because again, that sort of pop punk rock was a lot of my teenage years.
Oh yeah, I would love to see them. I would be going mad. Yeah, so that is your say. Now, if you've got anything to add on that subject of what's the best act you've ever seen at Download, go onto our socials, find the little box that asks the question and add in your thoughts as well. That's it for this episode. We'll be back soon and we'll report back on how the Download pilot went. But until then, we will see you on our socials. Just look for Festpod or go to festpod.co.uk to listen to the other guides and send us a message. And why not give us a review wherever you found us? We would love to see what you've got to say about us. That's it. We'll catch you next time. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast.
Tickled me pickle.